This is part 2 of Relationship Red Flags, the series that I'm doing. This video is going to be 2 additional red flags, but these 2 roll into one. So this one is they attempt to control what you do, where you go, and who you spend time with. They want to know where you are at all times. If you're not with them, they just prefer you to be at home. And anytime you're like, oh, I'm going somewhere, where are you going? Or, I called you, you didn't answer. You could have been at the store, you could have been in the shower, it could have been anything, but they're just really upset when they don't know where you are every second of every day. It doesn't matter where they are or what they're doing, but they want to control where you are and what you're doing. They get upset when you hang out with your friends or your family, and God forbid, if they ask you, okay, let's go roller skating, you say, oh no, I'm having dinner with my family tonight, they will hit the roof. Everything is about you spending time with them. They don't care about the other people in your life or your other relationships or friendships or even you spending quality time with your family. And because of that, they try to drive a wedge between you and your friends and your family. If you are a family-oriented person, you may share with them something like, oh yeah, I went to, my nephew's birthday party and, I got him such and such a gift and he really didn't like it. And this person will be like, oh, well, how dare he? Like, he is so arrogant, so centered. Like, they will put down your family member or your friend, and they will blow up any small situation. And for me, it wouldn't matter if they didn't like it. Here's the receipt. You can return it. It's not a big deal. But they will make a big deal out of almost anything for the purpose of speaking negative about that person to try to drive a wedge between you and that person because they want you to think how they think. And they want you to think negatively about other people because they don't want you to be around other people. So think about that. And they try to make you feel guilty for not spending time with them. Oh, I really wanted us to go roller skating yesterday and you said you didn't want to go because you were having dinner with your family and I felt so neglected and I wondered if you really cared about me. Like, they try to make you feel guilty. And so they'll say whatever they feel like they need to say for you to be like, maybe I should have canceled dinner with the family to be with him or her because they seem really so upset. It's a mind game. Okay, which leads into the next thing on my list. They play mind games. They may gaslight you. They may use ultimatums. Okay, well, you had dinner with your family last night instead of going roller skating with me. And so next Tuesday, we're going roller skating. And if we don't, I'm going to have to rethink us continuing this relationship. So they'll give ultimatums, like that. Like, if you do this, then our relationship may be over or whatever. They're manipulative, and that goes into the mind games and trying to drive a wedge between you and other people. And they have a double standard. You didn't go roller skating with them because you had dinner with family, but they'll be out at bars or clubs or hanging out with their friends, and that's okay. So it's okay for them to hang out with other people, but not for you because they're trying to control you. And they try to keep score. Well, I'm going out with Johnny to a bar on Thursday because you had dinner with your family on Tuesday. Yeah, they do stuff like that. They're unforgiving. Well, I'm still having trouble trusting you because I felt so abandoned when you didn't go roller skating with me to have dinner with your family. Like, they just will not let you live it down. Well, in their mind, because you can just be like, bye boy or bye girl or whatever. And they're also secretive about the things that they do because even though they want to control where you go and what you do, they don't want you to know what they're doing. So they may be secretive with their phone. They may delete text messages, emails, or, they may go in another room to answer a phone call. And so they hide things from you, but at the same time, they want you to tell them every single detail of every single day. And this goes into red flag number 2 for today. They lack trust. And along with this is they may demand your social media passwords, the code to your phone and to your email and things like that. And this rolls into them trying to control you, which basically is not always, but sometimes it's because they don't trust you. And so they want to know everything that you're doing every day, where you are, why you didn't answer the phone, why are you going to dinner with your family again this week when you went to dinner with them last month. I mean, it's just like a trust thing sometimes. And part of them lacking trust towards you may be due to them not being honest with themselves about who they are. And they may be hiding something from you. So either they may not really know who they are and they're pretending to be who they think you want them to be, or they know that they're really not the right person for you, and so they're trying to hide certain things from you. Like, oh my gosh, if she finds out, that I drink every other day, she's not going to be with me. And so I'm not going to tell her that. So at the same time, they don't want you hanging out because they're like, what if she's out there drinking? Which it doesn't matter. So it's like this twisted thinking that they have, as you can tell from the stuff that I'm going over right now. And they may be, along with the drinking, they may be in denial about being a functional alcoholic. And so they're trying to control you because they're not in control of themselves, or they're denying that they have an issue. So they want to focus on your issues and keep telling you what's wrong with you and trying to control the things you do because they're so out of control in certain areas in their own life. So sort of projection. Well, actually not sort of, it is projection. I don't feel good about this thing that I do, so I'm going to highlight everything that I think is bad that they do. So it's taking the attention off of me and putting the attention on the other person, which is not fair at all. But life isn't fair. But relationships are not always fair, but they should at least be something that you can work through issues with that person for it to be a healthy relationship. I already talked about this person isn't capable of being honest with you because they aren't honest about being who they are. And they may not realize they're that way. Having a clinical background, I think clinically in a lot of situations, even when I just meet people, like I'm really like analyzing what they're saying. I don't always do it on purpose, but if something triggers in my mind, like, wait a minute, he just said this and that doesn't make sense. That's what gets me going. So now I'm really paying attention, and then I do intentionally start to analyze the things that they say because what they said before didn't make sense. So then I'm like, huh? Nah. But as I was saying, some people don't realize they're that way. They, in their mind, they're making perfect sense to a point where you'll be thinking, are they listening to what they're saying? Because it sounds off. It doesn't sound logical. It doesn't sound rational. I tell people a lot of times, we all have issues. We all have things that we need to work on. For me, it's about knowing what your issues are, acknowledging them, and then working to resolve them. So I don't care if someone has issues. I just want them to be aware and to be working on it the same way as I'm working on mine. So that's my thing. Learn about yourself. Learn about the different patterns and situations in your life and why they keep happening or why you allowed it to happen so long. And internalize it, think about it, and work on being a better person. And sometimes people are controlling because they're insecure with the relationship. Okay, I'm going to go back to, being in denial about possibly being a functional alcoholic. If she finds out that I drink every other night, she's not going to be with me. She might think I drink too much or, things like that. And so they're insecure because they're trying to hide a part of themselves from you because they think if you find out, you'll end the relationship. And so they're secretive, but at the same time, they're controlling, all because they're trying to hide something about themselves. Sometimes. All of this is just in a nutshell. So I'm not saying this is for every person. I'm just saying these are what are potential red flags in potential relationships. On the other end of the spectrum, you're working hard to keep the relationship moving forward by constantly reassuring the other person that things are okay. And so you're doing double the work because you're doing your work to ensure that the relationship is as healthy as possible. And because they're being controlling, manipulative, they're gaslighting you, their insecurities are coming out, and they don't realize it. So you're overcompensating. You're doing your part, and you're also doing their part because you want the relationship to continue. They're insecure. Oh my gosh, I feel bad you went to dinner with your parents instead of skating with me. And you're like, oh baby, I'm so sorry. We'll go out to dinner tomorrow. And so you're making these concessions for this person over and over and over and over because you want to reassure them that you care about them. If you love them, then you want them to really feel like you love them. And you're putting in extra energy and extra emotion, extra work, and extra time to reassure them that, babe, we're okay. It's going to be okay. And after a while, it becomes emotionally exhausting And you may start to realize that the relationship is one-sided. Like, why am I the only one that's putting in this work? Like, they're constantly complaining, and I'm constantly saying things are okay. They're constantly putting me down, and you know, I'm trying to uplift myself and uplift them so that our relationship can be uplifted. And you can start to become really weary and really tired emotionally. And also psychologically, you might get to the point like, well, what's wrong with me that I'm enduring this treatment and this behavior from this person? And why is what I'm doing not being reciprocated? Like, why am I always putting in all this effort? And that could be another red flag too. If you're the only one putting in work and you're trying to have conversations with this person on, you know, what you think the two of you can work on to improve the relationship, but they're not doing their part, that's a red flag too, and that's probably somewhere down on my list. But anyway, so for today, just to recap, they try to control what you do, where you go, and who you spend time with by whatever means. And number two, they lack trust in you and in the relationship. And that comes out in their controlling behavior. So even though it's two, they roll into the same situation of them wanting to control you. So I hope all of this made sense. I kind of feel like I babbled a little bit. So if you have any questions, let me know down below. Let me know what you think of these potential red flags. And so thank you guys for watching. Comments are always welcome, and you will see me in the next video.